baby. My water. Gotta stay hydrated.
Absolutely. You know, I'm kind of regretting taking that cheers. That's kind of bad luck. I didn't drink my drink. Hopefully it canceled out. You know, I'm gonna be honest.
You're superstitious.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that, you know, I kind of just thought about.
I wonder what the people think. We kind of switched it up on them. We went
New layout,
new layout,
new setup.
same table. This is what we started with. For the people that don't know that, got to go way back
With the same podcast.
with the same podcast.
Yes, the Unscripted Podcast. You know, we're trying to display it more. We're going to be making little changes here and there. Eventually, you know, throwing up some visuals, clips up here and there, make it a little bit more entertaining.
We changed our Instagram and TikTok handle.
Yup, we're making the clips, I guess, more appealing, entertaining. You know,
We're trying.
Yeah, trying to. You know, the
Trying.
last few have been hit or miss. You know, still figuring it out on the social media side, but it's a well.
It's almost a well orchestrated machine.
Well,
we're getting.
I want to go
we're
that
getting
far,
there.
but I'd say it's a well. It's a well, like, it's an enjoyed experience because you learn a lot through it. About
Right.
There's things that me and Eric talk about. You know, like 9 months later, because we've been doing this. You know, I looked at it now for over a year now. So you look at some of the videos and it's like we're just
On
now.
and off for a year.
Yeah, but it's just now talking about how not a year consistently, but it's, you know, been in the process for the last year.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll just come up with something 2 weeks ago. Like, why haven't we done this for the last
That's basic.
50 videos? Yeah, why don't we just include this into that? It'll make our lives so much easier.
Yeah.
And it'll make the video so much better.
Yep.
So it really comes down to that. You know, let's jump into the podcast. We're going to be having, you know, a little bit of mix of everything. We have our local news, politics, business.
We have some sports.
Yeah,
going
we have everything of the mix going on. You know, we'll jump in first things first with our local news going on. Eric, please jump us in.
So let's start off with some stuff that's happening here close to home. We'll start off with some breaking news of a couple days ago. Now,
Yeah.
I believe it could have been. I think it was Friday. This happened.
Yeah, if I'm not
Friday
mistaken.
morning around noon, or around 12 o'clock, or so around noon in
Yep.
Rochester Hills, Michigan. So a couple days ago now, but the arrests were just finalized last night. So
Both people.
both people. So I'll get into that in a second. So what had happened was, it sounds like there was two gentlemen that posed as DTE energy workers,
Yep.
which, for people that don't know, DTE is the
from
company
outside of
that
Michigan.
provides electricity and heat and gas all around our state.
Yeah.
So there's two people posted DTE workers that came to a gentleman and his wife's door in
Mhm.
Rochester Hills, Michigan.
Yep.
Um,
Older couple.
72 years of age. I believe his name was Hussein.
Yeah, everyone called him Sam.
Yep, and he owned a pawn shop in Hamtramck, which is a well-known city inside of Detroit here in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So he owned a well-known pawn shop. These two gentlemen came to the door, posed as DTE, said they were checking for gas leaks. They came Thursday night at around 10.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So from my understanding, I heard that they came a night before,
Yep.
posed as trying to say that whatever, and for whatever reason they weren't let in the house.
Yeah.
Came back a second time the next night, but were let in the house.
No, so they came back during the day the second time,
Oh.
and then he let them into the house. Let him down to the basement.
Yeah, where the
Wife
heater is.
never saw him again. She ended up getting tied up. I'm not sure when she got tied up in the process.
Yeah.
Obviously, sometime after her husband was killed.
Right, from my understanding, that's what they were saying, is that, you know, wife was upstairs showering, whatever, you know, getting ready for the day. Husband went downstairs with them. Husband never came back up.
Yep.
Men came up, started searching the house,
For
went to go
20
look for the
minutes,
wife.
supposedly.
Yeah, went to go
Yep.
find the wife. Found the
So,
wife.
long story short, they apprehended two men. One they apprehended in Shreveport, Louisiana.
36 hours.
36 hours. 47-year-old Carlos Hernandez.
Mm-hmm.
But he's from Dearborn Heights.
Okay.
And then the second male, they haven't released his name yet, but he was apprehended in Plymouth, Michigan
Wow.
last night.
So he didn't think he'd get caught.
Well, I wasn't too sure because they didn't ever post his face.
Well, right, yeah, the first guy you said, what's his name?
Carlos Hernandez.
Yeah,
I
Carlos
believe.
Hernandez is the one that, like, had his face everywhere. That's the one they
Yeah.
found so fast.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, and 500 miles away. They found him, even plus, found him that quickly.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how far Louisiana is. I think it's almost a 12, 13-hour drive.
Yeah,
to
yeah, so
Louisiana.
and minimum's 500, 600
Yeah,
miles.
so this must have happened, and he must have got on the freeway and went.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's
I hope they release how they caught him.
well,
Like, did they catch? They obviously. They didn't release all the information, obviously.
no, of course. And so that's my whole question that I wanted to get to is that for someone to be caught, not even in neighboring states, but like 4 or 5 states away in under 2 days, there had to be something huge going on.
Yeah.
For it to be this urgent.
So think about it. They had to have this guy's vehicle on camera multiple times. Everyone has a ring camera.
No, but of course, but how stupid do you have to be using that same car to get away with? After doing something like that, like
Yeah,
you're faking as a DTE worker. You even got because they even had the stickers
Right,
for the
but
car.
all it takes is just to take the magnets off the truck, and you're just a regular white Ford pickup.
Absolutely,
truck.
but it's still the same license plate. So why not at that point? Why not just use a fake license plate?
How do
same
we know
thing.
he didn't? But that's what I'm saying. There's cameras everywhere, bro.
Absolutely,
So they
that's
could
what
have
I'm
just
saying.
followed the plate all the way. And there's cameras on the freeway.
Absolutely, but there's certain spots that it's got to go dead.
I mean, it has to, but
There's a lot of information that still has to be
Right,
determined on.
right.
Yeah.
But then, like we know they do when they put out bolos. If
Yeah.
they have the license plate, they can send it out to everyone
Yeah,
in the
they do like
country.
an Amber Alert almost.
Right, to all the cops. And then I'm sure someone saw him driving on the freeway. It's just crazy they all remember that, like, oh, that's that truck that we need to catch. Like,
Yup. That ZZ3641.
yeah, that's it.
That's him.
That's him.
And then plus the other 50 they
Got
need to
him.
remember. Plus the other 50 you need to remember, bro.
Right, man, it's crazy. So, and then on top of that, what else awful? That was horrible.
Yeah.
More to come on that as
It's still
details evolve.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
still an updating and
Yeah.
evolving story. So as more information comes out, there will definitely be more information. released.
100%. That's something we'll probably keep up on throughout the whole trial.
And condolences to the family.
Correct,
Sad
correct.
loss for the family of
Yep.
the grandpa, the husband, the father. I'm sure he was
Horrible
all the above.
loss.
Yeah, and that he said he was just a community person and leader overall.
100%. Yeah, he sounded like a great guy.
Right.
Based off the interviews and stuff from the neighbors, he sounded pleasant.
Absolutely.
But to keep it also close to home, something happened yesterday that still I haven't been able to fully wrap my head around.
What's that?
You may or may not have heard about it. 2 cops were shot,
I did hear about
critical
this.
injured, but it sounds like they're going to survive, thank God.
Yes.
And it's not just an ordinary 2 cops were shot.
No,
they were
it's-
shot by one of their own.
Yes, and it's someone who is actually a very highly decorated officer
Correct.
as well, because he's actually a
Sergeant.
not only is he a sergeant,
And
but
he's on the SRT team,
Yes.
which is the special response team.
exactly right. So he's on SWAT, he's on that, and he's also a police instructor.
Correct.
So before you become an official police
You have
officer,
to
you
go through him.
in an academy. Yeah, you get put through the rings by him.
What I found was interesting about this whole topic was that this was his first day back off medical leave.
Yeah, and they don't know it's not medical leave because they call it a.
In the article I read, it said medical leave.
In the news, they use a different word that's very interesting. A non-vulnerable.
Medical leave.
So
they basically asked him to take some time off and get his problems handled.
right, but they saying that the problem is something that's not a real medical issue. So in a very media way, he had an addiction or to something, or he had some kind of problem with something.
Right.
So either some kind of case got the best of him, or he became an alcoholic, he became a user, he became a gambler.
Obviously, something happened.
Very serious, right? Because this news story I did hear about. Thank you, Eric. You did send it to me. I did not hear about this one, so this one was something very interesting I had to hear about. The 2 officers came and responded to his call because he called 911 in distress. He's freaking out and it's a suicide attempt.
No one cares about me.
Yeah, it's a suicide attempt. So
Yep.
they sent 2 cops over. I believe they sent from the 11th district. I'm not too familiar with what area that is.
Me neither.
But this is over on the east side that this happened on.
Yep.
So 2 officers arrived, and upon on arrival, he came out with a heavy caliber rifle. And upon them getting out the car, trying to make contact with him, he opened fire on them. They instantly got behind their car. As they got behind their car, took cover. He got closer and he opened rounds on the car and went around the car and started shooting at
And
them.
then they killed him.
Yeah, they had to, and that's the thing I was talking about with a couple other people is that it's crazy, no matter what, at the end of the day, someone's a threat is a threat, right? No matter who
100%.
they are, friend, family, whatever, a threat is a threat.
Cop, yeah.
Right, but how crazy that your own family, your own brother that you grew up with, and especially someone that you look up as a mentor that trains you, you have to take him out.
That's what I'm saying. Something had to have happened, whether it's an addiction, whether it's a case that drove him to
Absolutely,
this.
because both officers got hit in the leg. Luckily you said they're both
Right.
in stable condition, but one got hit in the thigh, and then one got hit in the calf or in the hamstring, something like that.
Yeah.
So
Which could have been deadly shots if.
absolutely,
Yeah,
it's crazy to be kind of put in that perspective. More or less that you're going that anyone in black and blue is your friends, your family, and then one day and the next day you're going to have to take them out.
And the call for their help and then open fire on them as soon as they pull up.
In protection for your own life.
Yeah.
To
come help you. Yeah, it's just crazy, man.
Absolutely.
It's just crazy. I also read last night in Detroit there was a quadruple shooting.
That I heard. It was
I'm not sure. I
and
think it was on the east side as well.
they found everyone besides the shooter. Everyone who's hit, and two of the people decided to do self-medicated at the house cleanup. They're I guess grazed. They didn't.
Have they found the shooter, or do they know who the shooter is?
Nothing.
Interesting.
Nothing. That's the only thing that they don't have a lead on, and what they're starting to think is that it's heavy gang retaliation because no one's willing to speak either. So it makes the cops' job even harder. When the victim's not willing to say much against the suspect.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about with my mom today at breakfast. We were talking about. I want to get your opinion on this before we hop on our next topic. Who do you think has a harder job? The police chief, James White, I believe that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think he has a harder job, or the Detroit District Attorney?
Police chief. I would say they're both equally hard jobs, but the police chief has it harder.
I would argue only for one reason, because the DA cannot proceed with it until the police chief confirms that it's a solid case, right? Because, for example, let's say we have the best case, like what's happening with Thug right now.
Yeah.
You can have the most solid case that he's had the biggest organization in charge of RICO, but if you didn't read him his Miranda rights, the whole thing's done.
Well, yeah.
It's a violation of constitutional
Well,
rights.
Fonnie Willis is the one that brought on the Young Thug case.
Absolutely.
She's the DA.
Absolutely.
She's not the police chief.
No, I know, but she's gathering all her evidence from the police chief, is what I'm
Right.
saying. So she's had to get
And
enough.
they told her not to try the case, but that's a completely different
So
topic.
clearly that she has a vendetta, right? But exactly, but that's the conversation starts there. Is that, do you feel as if this is a strong enough case that if I take it to court, we will be able to convict him?
Yeah, he's had a hard job. He's
Very.
had to clean up a really corrupt police department at one point in time. He had to fire a lot of people.
He had to fire a lot of people, and I just think that
And he's done a great job, I'll be honest.
Extremely great job.
Extremely great job.
he
If you're downtown, I feel safe downtown, wherever I'm at.
absolutely.
Like, there's a police present, whether it's one car sitting there, they're out
They're
on the
out everywhere.
streets. Yeah.
And some of them you don't even see it; they're just out and about.
No.
And that's the good thing about you, that not about them. About them in Detroit, they're not hassling you over being a little intoxicated,
No.
over smoking a little weed.
Yeah, you can smell it everywhere.
You got a gun? Problem. You're wanting to fight? Problem. You're yelling? Problem. Anything that just says have a good time, please have a good time in moderation. Be safe with it.
Right.
But you're walking around here, come meet me in the corner.
What's your problem?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, we're not tolerating
And
it.
guns, big time guns. I see it all over TikTok.
Absolutely.
They have those even metal detectors now.
That's
everywhere
Well, so they
downtown.
brought that in during COVID because of how bad Greektown was.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people getting shot right in downtown, right in Greektown. Speaking of Greektown,
I was gonna say, speaking of Greektown, speaking of metal detectors,
speaking of Detroit,
me and Alex were at the Detroit Lions,
Watch
Ford
party.
Field watch party for the Dallas Cowboys in
Mhm.
the Lions game this Sunday. Before we get started, we hopped off metal detectors. The Lions metal detectors are fucking crazy.
yes.
Crazy. You don't even walk in a line. You just walk through and they're like, "You're good.
Yep.
You're good. You're good." And there's like 4 people walking through at once.
It's that nuts.
It's that nuts.
There's the system that they have set up there is insane.
I hear it's one of the best security systems
So-
throughout football.
So it's something that they took from the casinos, and it's implemented into a system that, how there's something called a blind spot?
Yeah.
That doesn't exist for them in the security world, right? But even for the factor of there is potentially one, there's another protocol on top of that, right? So if there's cameras going like this, and potentially there's something that can go here, they'll put up 2 extra cameras, not one, they'll put 2 extra cameras to watch it this way.
Right.
So it has a full angle all the way around.
Yeah.
The cameras that they have, top dollar. Me and you talked about it. You know, it's not that old, but it's not that new of a stadium. So, you know.
2000, I think it's either 4 or 6.
Yeah, so there's not that much that they need to be doing right now. So they have a lot of funds
No,
that they can be working into the stadium for advancements.
And it's still a nice, really nice stadium.
It is. Absolutely. You know, I like how big it is. I like how, I don't know if you noticed, like when you walk to our seats, all the concessions, it kind of feels like you're in like a little village, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, 100%.
like you're walking with all the brick walls and they have these big signs.
You know, those brick walls are from one of the original factories in Detroit
No, I
that
didn't
made
know that.
cars.
I did not know that.
So, because it's Ford Motor Company that owns the Lions,
Yes.
for everyone that should know that.
No,
So that was one of the reasons.
Ford Field, baby.
The reason they got to build that stadium where it is
Mm-hmm.
is because they vowed to keep part of the original structure up, which was those brick walls for one of the Ford company's factories.
So I see, and so that's that whole side building that's connected to I see, and that's
Correct,
what's
and
incorporated into it.
and they turned it into offices and suites and everything like that.
So it's ironic you mention that because I'll go backtrack a little bit. It's the same thing that kind of happened with what is the new train station they opened up?
That's the Detroit train chase station.
That's what it's called.
It's one of the original train
right, and so
stations.
Ford family bought that, and
Yeah.
they're the ones that paid for the renovations, a $2 billion project.
Right,
And that was the same thing that they kept a lot of the original stairwells or work or whatever.
bro. We're getting a little off topic, but most people don't know how much history is in Detroit, man.
Yes, and there's
It's
a lot,
crazy.
and people have to research it on their own time.
But to get back to football,
Yes. We'll have to jump into the history of the Detroit Lions because right now we're
they're
setting.
on a roll.
It's not even that, Eric. We're setting history.
We are.
I want to
They're
talk
on a
about
roll.
Sunday was Jim Jones,
Jerry Jones. Jerry
I don't know why I
Jones.
keep calling him Jim. Jerry Jones' 83rd birthday. If I'm not mistaken.
82nd.
Jesus, 82nd birthday.
Just let me talk about it.
Eh,
Man.
man, but yeah, well, go ahead.
Jerry Jones' 82nd birthday. We played the Dallas Cowboys at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas.
Wow.
They ain't even in Dallas. Can you believe that?
No.
We smoked them.
47-9.
I don't need 47-9. They didn't even get a. They didn't even score
No, they
one
did not get
single
a one
touchdown.
Their kicker put up three of their
The,
field.
the,
Their 3 attempts.
the kicker put up all the points.
Yes.
Thank
you.
You're very welcome, sir. The kicker put up all the points, surprisingly, because last year the kicker wasn't so hot, if
No,
I
he
don't
wasn't.
remember. Honestly, man, Jerry Jones has got to be crying right now. Like, did you see you saw the video of him walking back to the locker room in front of all the players?
And so that's the ironic thing I was going to say is that I saw, usually they ask the head coach for a press conference after they did a press conference with him after they're
It's
like,
always Jerry Jones.
Jerry, how do you feel with the most embarrassing team right now in the
But
NFL?
that's what I'm saying. That people say that Jerry Jones is actually the problem of that team.
That's what a lot of people say. Because they're saying Dak Prescott paying him all that money was the last thing you should have done.
$60 million a year.
Yeah. $260 million.
He didn't even score a touchdown yesterday against a team that went 0-16 not even 8 years ago.
Dak Prescott went negative in fantasy. So did their defense.
Exactly. We ran all over them, Alex.
Eric, we had damn near a pick 6. We had 3 interceptions, if
What
I'm
do
not
you mean?
mistaken.
Damn near a pick 6.
We did get the pick 6? No, I thought he got short. He got short at the 3.
Oh, you're right.
He got dropped right at the 3, and that's where
You're
we were
right.
hoping for the for the Gibbs touchdown. Like Eric, there's still a chance.
I'm not even gonna lie. We were up pretty hot in the game. Me and Alex were like, "Oh, he can't score. Down."
When you start betting, you just don't give a fuck anymore. You're just like, no, okay, so this guy needs to get
Even
17
though
more yards.
all touchdowns are great, we're like, "Oh no, he needs to down it. We need Gibbs in the game."
Yeah,
and he needs
no,
to
this guy needs to
score."
stop right here.
Bro, if Gibbs would have just played,
We could have made a lot of money. We could, but that's I
but
think.
that's the name of betting.
But that was 86% of people. You
Oh,
know?
100%.
So that's they banked on that.
And the people that took Peoples getting a touchdown, like
Bro,
plus like 600 or something.
absolutely. Yeah, you throw just $5 on
I think
it.
he's going to become a bigger part of their offense.
I think so too.
Him and JMO, I think, are going to swap out because JMO's really good at blocking.
It's not even that. He knows how to misdirect.
Yeah.
He knows how to have you come one way so that a play can open up somewhere else. That's what he does really well with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yep.
Is that he will come on a slant or a dig route, and then he'll draw everyone into the left, and then Amon-Ra will be coming in on the cuts.
100%. It's a well put together team. Aiden Hutchinson went down, broke his leg. He'll be out 4 to 6 months. we're hoping the Lions pick up a defensive edge or a pass rusher.
Yeah, and supposedly Patrick Mahomes is out now for the rest of the year.
You said that, but I haven't heard anything major.
It's not
about
official
that.
yet?
No, man, it would have been everywhere.
We'll have to see about it.
Every year. I know half his team's out the rest of the year.
He's taking out half of them. The other half.
But, yeah, so I'm hoping the Lions pick up a defensive edge. A lot of people are saying it could be. It's not going to be Max Crosby as much as people wish.
Yeah, we can't.
I can't think of his name on the top of my head right now. Cleveland Browns or Cincinnati Bengals defensive end.
Not familiar.
Me neither. And I saw it this morning. I glanced at it. I jotted down his name, but I can't think of it right now.
It'll probably be someone cheap because
it is going to be someone cheap, and that's kind of what I'm hearing around the NFL. Is that they're going to
someone we have to build up.
They're not trying to get someone full time. Like
Just
they're not
fill the
trying
spot
to.
right now?
They're not trying to throw the kitchen sink at someone.
Uh-huh.
They're trying to find someone cheap who they can develop a little bit to do half the job Hutch did, just to hold it together the rest of the year.
Interesting.
Because Hutch is going to be back 4 to 6 months. They said.
Well, no, it'll be next season.
Unless they hit the Super Bowl. Hutch said he's coming for the Super Bowl. Man,
Wow.
he grew up here.
Dude, can you imagine that? That'd be like the Undertaker.
You know his dad's a surgeon at Royal Oak Beaumont.
Is that why they had made that shit happen so quick?
No, dude, he's still in Dallas. They're keeping Hutch in Dallas for rehab.
No, I know, but he had his surgery instantly.
They always do that.
They do.
Yeah, bro. They're the NFL.
I don't
They have doctors on standby waiting for someone if they get hurt during these games.
Interesting. That's something I'd like to learn a little bit more about and how that whole process.
There's a
works.
whole crazy side. of that.
Having like having like a doctor on a retainer. You know, for someone who doesn't know what a retainer is, but that's someone who works for you on standby. You know, you pay them X amount of money, and at any time you call them, they do the
Think
job.
about how many doctors they have right there on the sidelines.
No, but those are athletic trainers and.
No, the medical staff though are not athletic trainers. Like the people that run out on the
You
field.
think those are real PhDs?
Yeah, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's medical staff, bro. Think about
No,
what
but
DeMar
like a
Hamlin.
nurse doesn't have a PhD, so you can still be a medical staff. You get what I'm saying?
They're nurses and things like that.
Okay. So I'm saying, like, no way you have a PhD and you're working on the.
But they know what to
sideline.
do. Think about DeMar Hamlin's situation last year, bro. He's still alive because of the
No, absolutely. You know, they knew what
Like,
to do right there in the spot.
Exactly.
They-
Which we're gonna hop off the Lions. We're gonna talk about a couple more sports for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Or a couple more teams. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Buffalo Bills Jets game last night was insane.
Not what I expected at all.
No. After Robert Saleh got fired beginning of this week,
They came popping off.
there was an interim head coach. They came popping off during the game that almost won the game.
What's Lazard's first name? It's not
Blake.
It's Blake Lazard.
No, I'm not gonna say that because I'm not 100% sure. Lazard was playing crazy.
Yeah.
Wilson played a good game.
Breeze finally had a crazy game.
I'm excited to see what's gonna happen this coming week with the Jets game.
Yeah.
So
who are they playing
For
again?
people that don't know, the Jets just traded. Breaking news today.
Mm-hmm.
They traded, I believe, a third-round pick
Yes.
that could become a second-round pick
Mm-hmm.
and they traded for Devontae Adams. It could become a second-round pick if Devontae becomes an All-Pro.
Devontae Adams is the wide receiver from the Las Vegas Raiders, right?
Yep, Devontae Adams is the wide receiver from the Las Vegas Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Also famously known for playing with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
Yes. His hand-in-hand duo.
Same with Lazard. He played with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
Yes.
And Rodgers has the offensive coordinator he had in Green Bay.
So
They're saying that he's the reason Robert Saleh got fired.
So that's what I'm saying. So like we talked about last
So he's
week.
getting they're throwing the kitchen sink at Rodgers.
You know, me and you at Aaron or at
Rodgers.
Okay, yeah. So like me and you talked about last week, I wanted to say, a player has a lot of contribution to a team, but it's about how much say does he have, right? It comes down to what can a guy do about rebuilding a team as a quarterback, and as him being a veteran, it seems like he's having a lot of
Well,
say.
this is his legacy on the line.
You think so? It's like that? You don't think he doesn't give a fuck?
Packers moved on, bro. It's Jordan Love. They forgot who Aaron Rodgers was.
Fair enough. And they rebuilt that team pretty
this
quickly.
is his
and well.
legacy on the line right here. It's not like he won 6 Super Bowls.
How old is he now? 44?
40 something. He won 1 Super Bowl his whole career. It's not like he won 6 like Mahomes or not 6 like Brady. 3 like Mahomes. Mahomes is on his way to 6. Like, this is his legacy on the line right here.
Absolutely. For the stats that he has, he doesn't have much to back it up in a sense.
Correct. Correct. And not only that, it's going to be an interesting week this week.
And I can't wait to see it. Any before we hop off about real quick, any bet predictions?
I got the Lions beating Minnesota this week.
That's crazy.
That's what I said. It's going to be an interesting week.
That's crazy.
So I got the
Minnesota's
Lions
5-0.
5-0. We're 4-1. And we lost to Tampa Bay, and we shouldn't even have lost.
No, we're 4-2.
We're not.
I thought we were just 3-2. We're 3-2.
No, we're 4-1.
Huh.
We're 4-1. They're 5-0. Think about the math you just said. 4-2.
But wasn't this just week 6?
This was week 5. We're on week 6 right now.
Guess I'm a little off.
Yeah.
But okay, then yeah.
I got the Lions beating Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I got a David Montgomery touchdown, anytime touchdown scored. I got a J-Mo anytime touchdown.
Nice.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
Lock it in, bro. I'll come back next week with the dub.
And put it up. I definitely have the Jaguars game at an over. I have I think they play against the Patriots. I take that at an over. I have the Cardinals versus the LA Chargers at an over.
You went all out, huh?
Yeah, and I have, I don't even know how I remember this, to be honest. I had the Cardinal Panthers game at I think that was an over as well. I'll have to check what other one it was. It was a couple I've learned how to, like, talk to ChatGPT about gambling. There's very specific ways you have to ask the questions for her to actually answer.
Don't give your secret away.
No, because people don't know how I ask the questions. Because I've tried that there's, based on how you set up the question, is based on how you'll get the response.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ask, what is your best bet versus how would you bet, they're two different things.
Right.
You know? But anything else you want to hop on for sports before we jump off out of this?
No, let's jump off.
Okay, awesome. Let's get into our business talk now, and then we'll get into a little bit of political talk that will tie in right with it. Currently, right now in the business world, it's a very interesting time right now. When I say, as me being a business owner myself, it's a very interesting time. Money is not being made nor spent the way it used to be. Well, it's definitely being spent, but not in a good way. It's being spent a lot faster than you can make it. Back in the day, you would be making it a lot faster than you can spend it, some people would say. So right now it comes to the time of how can you maneuver around it, how do you advance, all these different kinds of things. And, it makes it very interesting because the government does not make it any easier for us. When I say us, I'm talking about like small business owners or even any business owner. You get taxed on everything you do.
Right.
There's always some kind of new stipulation or law that's coming into play.
Right.
And then there's everything a lot of it's done kind of behind the table. You don't really hear about it unless it's done by social media. So, my mom was telling me, she's the one that helps do everything behind the scenes. She said, make sure you're doing this, make sure you're doing that. She was telling me, have you heard of the BOI? The hell is the BOI? It's your beneficial ownership info. Oh, tell me more. What the fuck is this? I know I'm the owner. I know the beneficial ownership info. It's my info. Well, you got to submit that info. And if you don't submit it by December 31st, it'll be a $591 fine every single day.
Wow.
And that applies to anyone who has any corporation or LLC or entity in America. So for some people who love to have their businesses spread out into a million different entities so they can never get fucked, you're submitting 1 million of those forms for each entity. And so if you don't, let's say for example, like I said, you have those 1,000 entities, do that times 591. That's $591,000 that you're paying right there on day one.
But they got people doing that for them. They have that many entities.
Yes and no. I beg to differ because some people, like I said, some people don't even know about this. This was not a notice that you received formally. This is not something that we got in our emails. This was not something that we got a letter about. This was very under the rug. And I very confidently want to say that there will be some people who will get absolutely fucked by this.
Oh, 100%.
So if for anyone listening now, I want to say that if you have an LLC, small business, anything like that, make sure you go on FICEN, FINCEN. That's going to be your financial crimes. What is that? Enforcement network. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting. It's going to be your financial crimes enforcement network, and it'll show you the whole process on there and how to submit everything that you need to do on there. A lot of people will be saying that currently this was appealed by a Supreme Court judge in Alabama, saying that this whole regulation is non-constitutional. But with the U.S. government, I would never play any games. I would just do it just in case. It's a free form that you just have to fill out, and it's always better to be, safe.
Did you get yours done?
Yeah. Well, I'm in the process of getting it finished right now. It's a good amount to fill out, to be honest. So it's something I'm definitely need to take care of. But you have to just make sure it's submitted before December 31st. So you got 2.5 months still left before you're cutting it close.
Yeah. They should sponsor our next podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
We just gave them a free promo.
Yes. So hopefully we'll get that all taken care of. Everyone, save you your money. Take care of your business. Make sure you're 2 steps ahead, not 3 steps behind.
So if you're 3 steps behind, you're behind.
If you're 3 steps behind, you're dead weight.
Dead weight.
You're dead weight, man.
Cut in the bag.
But yeah, that's one thing, it's always very interesting to me on seeing all the positions. I was talking with one of my employees today. He's wanting to get a little, I don't want to say financial advice. He's like, I'm trying to open up a new bank account, do this, that.
Right.
Gave him the proper advice. So me and you always talk about credit unions is the way to go. Mm-hmm. It's always best to be dealing with a private institution than a public institution. It's better to be dealing with a lower rate than a higher rate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the main thing that it comes down to is that I think is a big problem in America is that you always hear about these SBA loans.
Yep, small business loans.
Yeah, so they're telling you want to start a startup?
$50,000 guaranteed.
No problem.
Money back.
Minimum.
Fuck you in the long time.
It's not even that, you can't get it, Eric.
Yeah, they give out 3.
Majority of people cannot get that money because you have to have either the most insane business plan in the world that requires such a small startup but such a high profit.
And they only give out this many. They advertise this big, but then they give out this
They're giving out pennies to
because then they take your information and sell it to other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Then you get offered a 10% loan. Oh, I might as well. I needed the money.
Yeah. Smart.
And
business model.
And you get fucked, So that's it's very sad to say that it's how they sell it and then how it really is versus reality. Show versus how would you put it? It's fake, real versus fake. That's the best way to put it. As they say on TV, what you see on TV and what you actually get. Like the commercial versus what you actually.
It's like getting catfish.
Yes, that's the best way to put it right there. What I want to tie it into a little bit right now, we're what is it? Intrigued over there. We're getting into 3 weeks from the election right now. Currently.
3 weeks, man.
Yeah, it's coming down fast, Eric.
Down to the wire.
It feels like we just had 60 days about last week. That's what it really
I feel
feels
like we started talking about it in March though.
We've been talking about it for a while.
Campaigns should pay us too.
Say that again.
The campaigns should pay us too because we've been putting in that work for them.
All the way around. You spreading the good message,
Yeah.
But one thing I want to get into is that it's crazy to see on how everything's coming down for these last 21 days because right now is really do or die. So with my brother working part of the campaign, we hear really interesting things and the places that they're going to be targeting. When I say targeting, these are the places they're going to be visiting, campaigning at for the next few weeks. These are going to be very interesting states because they're going to tell you a big telltale of where they're either trailing very badly or where they're doing very strongly.
Right.
And so, for example, I want to say Kamala has been in Michigan for the last, she's been in Michigan for the last 2-3 weeks now, I want to say. She's been here 3 times in the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
Once a week, I want to say.
The same with Trump.
Yeah. And yeah, Trump even more because Trump's gone to Grand Rapids, Trump's gone to all these other places. She's gone to as well, but they've been a little bit smaller. He's gone all over the place.
Grand Rapids, Flint, Detroit.
Exactly. He even came to, what's it called?
But he kind of fucked himself last time he
Macomb.
was in here in Detroit.
I don't think he was here when he said that.
He was.
Oh, he was, so that's even worse.
He was speaking downtown when he said
so that's even worse. So he's gonna for sure rebuild it, or he's for sure gonna redeem himself. But yeah, so Friday at the Huntington Center, he will be at there. Doors open at 3 o'clock, and he'll be speaking at 7 o'clock. And that
downtown again?
Yeah, downtown Detroit at the Huntington Place. And so it's gonna be electric. My brother was telling me that in Nevada they swarmed all the casinos because they didn't have the doors open till 3 o'clock, and they already had over 1,000 people at the doors by 1 o'clock.
Wow.
So people are literally camping out this like it's a shoe drop. You know, it's absolutely insane. And if I'm not mistaken, what I just saw is that Trump for the first time took the lead for Michigan. He has 50.5%, and Kamala has like 48 point something percent. So it's a very close percentage, 2%, but that's going to be the make or break it right there. I think it's even going to be tighter than that when it really comes down to it.
It'll be a good race.
So let me ask you this, Eric, because what we were talking about a little bit earlier is that a lot of people are going to be coming out to vote. There's going to be a lot of people, supporting, I guess I want to say their party, but I don't think they'll actually be supporting someone.
Yeah.
As you said, Kamala is here today.
Yeah, she's doing an interview with Charlemagne the God.
Yeah, with Charlemagne. And
downtown.
They're doing one-on-one interview,
Yep.
again, answers.
It's just
questions.
interesting. Why did they choose Detroit to do it?
Because you have to think of it,
Like Charlemagne's radio station's in where? New York or Chicago?
Yeah, but it's me personally, I think it's a race thing. Okay, and so that's the whole thing that I think would be same thing between this whole abortion thing. If it was a man versus a man, that whole topic would not be as long living as it is. Or if it was a woman versus a woman in that instance either. I don't think it would live that long. But the fact that it's a woman versus a man, it's a political move to continue talking about that topic. So I think the same thing here. That's why Kamala keeps trying to say she's Latino. She's Indian. She's African American. She's trying to bounce all over the place to appeal to people. So if you're with Charlemagne, which is a big advocate for the Black African American community, you got to be able to support. It's the same thing with Barack Obama. Barack Obama said, "You're not black if you're not voting for Kamala." I don't know if you heard that or not.
And
It's yes. You're not black if you're not voting for Kamala.
Mm.
You're not supporting the black community if you're not voting for Kamala. So it's getting very, I don't want to say if vulgar is the right word here, but it's getting very aggressive to the tactics that they're using. Instead of saying like, if you want better justice for your children, vote for this person. No, it's now, if you're this skin color and you want to claim to this skin color or feel that you're part of this skin color, then you have to vote with these people to feel accepted. It's an acceptance thing now. I think that's really wrong. But time will tell with it. We'll see how it goes. Election is now, like you said, 3 weeks away. Everyone, make sure you get out there, vote. You got to support whoever you vote for. You got your voice makes a difference.
Yep.
Just hopefully you make the right decision because, as you've seen in the last 4 years, have been absolutely crucial, hectic, terrible. I don't know if I can think of any other adjectives.
that's fair.
Treacherous, diabolical. But yes, if there's anything else you want to touch base on before we hop out of here on the beautiful Unscripted podcast.
Nope.
Awesome. It was great.
Just make sure to check us out on all streaming platforms. YouTube, Instagram is Unscripted Clips, TikTok Unscripted Clips, YouTube The Real Unscripted Podcast.
And you can never forget, it's the Unscripted podcast. And with that being said,
We'll see you next time.